There have been many times on the show when we've discussed the importance of proper shoeing for your horse. But did you know that there have been very successful Standardbreds who have had their shoes removed for competition? In fact, just this year, the $1 million International Trot winner, Vitale, picked up his triumph racing barefoot. And the world champion Resolve was also known for visiting victory lane after prestigious wins during his career without wearing shoes. However, there is an art to racing your harness horse barefoot. So we brought in Dr. Christopher Baldt to tell us more about this technique that's sparking more and more interest.
Barefoot racing has been popular in Europe for quite a while. It's got very limited exposure here in the United States. We're seeing a number of horses starting to race barefooted, but there are some issues that you have to be aware of. The track surfaces here are a little bit different, a little bit harder. So one of the things we've recognized with the horses that race barefoot is that there are some owners that will have them in shoes the majority of the time and take the shoes off just for the race and put the shoes back on after the race. But there are also some folks that are trying to race on a full-time basis without shoes at all. There are some issues that they found that between 15 and 35% of horses that don't have shoes on tend to break stride. And we know how challenging that could be when you're trying to have a performance horse. So there's some problems. There's also an issue with farrier and trimmers. They have to come on a more regular basis because the balance of the hoof is so vitally important. They have to leave a little more heel than typically with the Standardbred. Sometimes they got to take a little less toe than you typically see with the Standardbred race horses, and so there are some adaptive changes. We recognize that some places the horses are going to be shoed only in the back and not in the front. And we know that if you take a trotter's shoes off, it can change the way that he gaits. So it's going to be a process that's going to take many, many years to figure out. They're doing it successfully in Europe, and I think over time we're going to start to see, as the horses change based upon the environmental stresses of the track and their breeding, you're going to see that there's going to be some who's going to be able to race shoeless, especially when you start seeing success. Obviously, people like to follow successful horses in the industry. So once we get one that really races well, they're going to do a little more investigation. The surface is so very important. With barefooted horses that don't have the proper trimming, you're going to have too much of the sole striking the ground and you're going to get bruising and things like that. So actually shoeing in some cases is going to make the horse's hoof less vulnerable to injury. So overall, I think this is going to be interesting to watch over the next couple of years as some of the trends from Europe will make their way over to the United States. And I think that we're going to see more and more barefooted horses run, and as they become more successful, it's going to become more accepted.
Thanks, Dr. Baldt. That was a great educational feature. And there are so many more that horse lovers can watch. If you want to see Dr. Baldt's other segments, just log on to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Posttime Show. And of course, if you want to reach out to Dr. Baldt directly, just log on to his website at drbaldt.com.